Hello and welcome back to the Forsen run here. I'm currently in Act 2, trying to figure out how to beat Jaman Ra. The setup that I'm running is a high lightning resistance. I have these rings that I purchased from the vendors or gambled my way into, which I'll equip once we get to the boss. I think it's fairly simple. It's pretty straightforward. This run is about me attempting to clear the game without using. It's on hardcore solo self found, and then I'm trying to clear the game without any help from anything basically. Like no gear that I have from previous runs. No help. Just a full campaign clear as if this was a ladder reset. Um, Also, I'm only allowed to go to town to shop once every instanced zone. So that means that I cannot go to town whenever I want to. I have to kind of pick up whatever stuff I can carry and then go and sell it or disenchant it at the vendor. Um, and I cannot redo any zones, meaning that mostly farming every zone completely out because I cannot redo it. So if I feel like I need more levels or something, that's just too bad. I have to kind of just go with it and not use anything that I have from prior runs. And Is there anything else? Probably not, though. But I mean, it's pretty straightforward. Like, how would you would imagine like a hardcore run without any shenanigans? I'm currently attempting this. This is my third attempt. I had two deaths prior. So what I'm doing here is I'm doing a witch which I ascended into a lich. I think it could be any class really. Like a lot of classes can benefit from this type of play, but I'm using a lich and I'm focusing on the bone spell or the physical spells. So the idea is that I'm trying to see how far can I get uh, while um, while using physical spells. And by physical spells, I'm focusing on I'm focusing on the bone cage and on the bone storm. The bone storm, and there's a bit of a gimmick with the bone storm that I want to get into in a moment. That it's kind of the baseline for the idea for the run to see if this type of build actually works in the long run. Um, Let me just quickly clear this out. Probably I'll talk a little bit about it once I get to German Ra. The clearing here is semi-dangerous, so I still want to do that. Um, I can also not pause the game. Let me illustrate. And I don't exactly know what the idea behind this is, but I'm basically just following the idea of somebody named Forsen. Anyway, so when I hit escape, this is a game pause. This is not allowed during combat to kind of figure out what's going on. Um, and I cannot respawn at checkpoint. So like it's do or die situation, right? Which means of course I'll either die or get very close to dying on many occasions, which is perfectly fine. That's within the framework of the run. Let's see. And so one of the things that I found, like this is also an experimental run, really. Like I'm kind of going. I have a build idea, and I'm building towards that in the passive tree and through ascendancy passives and so forth, with a very sort of narrow-minded logic that more power is more power, more survivability is more survivability. There is no crazy synergy idea that's supposed to make this happen. This is just like this damage does this. It works this way. This type of damage, and that's the dangers with this spell, and this is the advantages of the spell. So it's that's how I've kind of, that's the philosophy here. There is no crazy build guide, no crazy synergy things that works together with uniques. I use what I find. And one thing that I found out actually, which I think kind of I illustrate in one of the earlier videos of this run, is that the dependency on the drops is enormous on this type of run. I mean, I can kind of say, well, I want to build this kind of character, and then I just equip those items that I need for that type of build from the get go. I could also go with a different strategy, saying that I know that specific skills or spells is very broken. With very little effort, this is going to work very very well. I could do that. That's not the intention. I'm going by the main idea that I'm playing a physical spells witch, but I'm not rejecting using other things along the way that kind of follows into the same type of play. So, for instance, one of the major problems is that some of these spells are not accessible at level 1, for instance. Some are accessible later, so you have to kind of make some kind of sacrifices in that overall perspective. It's very difficult, I find, to from the beginning say I'm only going to use this type of skill. Anyway, so what my takeaway up until this moment is that the dependency on the items is very real. So, for instance, I was lucky enough to drop the the unique or legendary item here in the early game, and so what that does for me, it gives me an enormous amount of armor points. So now suddenly I'm an armor lich, right? Because this item is too good to not use. Also, the physical, the bleeding on hit is valuable because my spells are hit spells, or at least I think the Bone Storm is a hit spell. It's a hit spell. So the Bone Storm is a hit spell, and the Bone Cage is not. Anyway, so that's going to be beneficial, semi-beneficial at least, in boss fights where I use my Bone Storm spell to deal damage. But the other thing that's very important for me as a takeaway in this whole run is the amount of power that you can gain from the staves in the early game. If I was insisting on wielding a wand and an offhand, I would be in a lot of trouble. I'm not saying that a spirit offhand with summons is not going to work. That's going to work very well for leveling also, but the power of a staff is undeniable. The amount of damage you can pack into a level 4 staff is ridiculous. So, because that the plus to all spell skills is such a strong multiplier or damage relative damage unit in your collective setup, is that it's just too easy to get a very very good item. And the second thing that I became very dependent on early was the skill on the staff. So, for instance, a lightning bolt level 2 lightning bolt with plus 2 skill levels, level 4 spell is equal to having a level 4 spell at level 4. So it's you get to a much higher level. The discrepancy between the monster level and the effective gem level that you're running with is enormous. If you have a high gem level skill, you're going to completely destroy the content basically. So that's why getting a staff early simply is just better than anything else. I'm close to saying the rest of my gear combined. So that's kind of one of the takeaways here. Getting a key item, and for the caster, it's going to be a staff with spell levels. For the marshals, probably something else. But I would sacrifice my main strategy in a league starter any day of the week if I got like a good staff that has a lot of power on it. It's going to make a world of difference in the early game, and I don't see how a wand and an offhand, any offhand, has any chance of competing with that in terms of raw power. Period. Of course, there are better spells. Like I could go Contagion, Energy Drain to demolish the content, but that's kind of a way that I didn't want to go down that path. And I'll be quickly discussing my Bone Storm setup in a moment here. I don't recollect if I talked about this earlier, but the idea behind the Bone Storm and the way that it's the intended or the expected value and how it works is something that I want to touch on. The pinning is also crazy. Like, there are loads of things that work. One of the major downside to the whole staffing, it's basically you use what you get. But like, one of the major downsides is that getting an upgrade to a staff is insanely difficult. Insanely difficult. So like, you might end up using the staff for the next 40 levels pretty much. Because the second that you let go of the skill levels, you are practically effed. And this particular staff also has gain damage, more damage, meaning it's multiplying the value of my total damage, which is crazy. And so one major downside of the Bone Storm is that the Bone Storm releases a bunch of small projectiles, and so the small projectiles are effectively not hitting the same, all of them are not hitting the same target, and that's a major issue. So you have to kind of aim a little bit. I'm still not using any kind of energy shield power for this because I could go for the 10 intelligence because it's a lot of stats, even though I'm not really using energy shield just yet. Is there anything else I can kind of go for in this situation? There isn't really. I should probably just grab the 10 intelligence here. The maximum energy shield is not going to matter because I didn't spec into energy shield, and you need to spec into energy shield very, very heavily for it to work. For it to work at all, pretty much. That's my experience. Kind of need to look at the items that I find. I also need some quality improving things on for my staff, or want later on, I'm guessing. So okay, here's the boss. All right. Wow. Oh well. Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to equip the. I'm going to equip my lightning resistance ring, and let me just double check. I'm losing the life or the hit points here, but I think this is not very good actually. These both of them are like it's like, is it worth 60 life to get a maximum lightning resistance? I think it is like famous last words. 53 lightning. Probably I want that actually. Okay. Yeah, let me just double check. The lightning bolt, I don't know that I'm going to be using this, but I am going to quickly throw some stuff in there in case. It's not completely uncommon that I run out of mana on this boss actually. This oh this is, I have this but I'm not really using it. Okay then. Yeah, sure thing. So the idea behind the build on the single target is that the bone cage still deals a lot of damage. The bone cage does a couple of things. The bone cage deals physical damage. It's pinning, so pinning is going to be very strong on in a lot of situations. It's a little bit like the Ice Nova. It basically locks down enemies so that they cannot perform actions against you. And there are multiple things that interact with pinning. I've been going through a little bit of pinning synergies in my passive setup, but not so much that it's kind of the cornerstone of the build. Not really. So the Bone Cage is a very strong spell that's going to work. It's going to work very well. You can tell my mana is going up and down a little bit, so that means a lot of the time my mana is going to be below or above 90%. But that's not the main thing here. The Bone Storm works in the way that it accumulates projectiles, and then it releases those, and the projectiles that hits the target deal damage. The projectiles do not seem to be limited to one projectile per target, where a lot of the when you go over the keyword for the projectile, I want to talk a little bit about the Bone Storm here. If you go over the projectile tooltip, it says that when a group of multiple projectiles is fired from the same source at the same time, only one projectile in the group can hit each target unless otherwise specified. There is something that indicates that the Bone Storm currently is not functioning as intended, because the projectiles from the Bone Storm deal individual damage, and they seem to all deal damage onto a target. If you look at the tooltip for Bone Storm, it says that the projectiles deal 23 to 34% physical damage. And so that's not a lot of damage. If you go over to the bolt or the flame wall even, it's dealing the same amount of damage, but that's AoE, right? So that hits more target. The Bone Cage is dealing a lot more damage, so why would you ever use that? But it does seem seem like the Bone Storm is interacting in a slightly different way in terms of the projectiles. So, so there's that. All of the projectiles seem to be able to hit the same target. The downside to the Bone Storm on a mechanical level is that the amount of projectiles that can hit a target is limited by the target's hitbox. So if you're fighting a small target, the Bone Storm does not really seem to be very good, basically. So if you're fighting a very small target, that's going to be a disadvantage. German Ra is a slightly bigger target, so that's going to work pretty well, I think. So that's one of the things. Then there's another thing that seems to be very, very strange. So the idea behind the Bone Storm is that it's dealing a lot of damage in principle, but it's taking a bit of ramp up. It's a channel spell, so you're channeling, and then once you get to that level where you've channeled all of your projectiles, you can then release them, like so. That's the idea. So here's the thing. One of the problems with Bone Storm is that Bone Storm takes a lot of time to channel. I'm going to unequip a couple of gems here. I think that took roughly 3 seconds. Let's try that again. 1, 2, 3. That's a lot of time, and you're running around, you're very slow, and you need to dodge things. If you dodge roll, it releases the projectiles. So that's kind of problematic. Here's the thing. If you equip a multi-shot, which, if you look at the multi-shot, it's supporting projectile skills, making them fire extra projectiles. It lowers attack and cast speed, but it's not. It doesn't indicate that it affects channel spells. So here's the difference with the multi-shot support gem in. Let's try that again. 1, 2. 1, 2. It's below 2 seconds. So I've effectively reduced the amount of channel time for the spell by 50% or something. So there's something that indicates that the multi-shot gem, support gem, actually goes in and increases the amount of projectiles that you can summon through at least the speed with which you can summon or channel the projectiles you need for your spell. So when I'm looking at the support gem, it looks a little bit like every time you create one projectile through the normal channeling, you would instead create 3 projectiles. So that should increase the channel speed by 200%. At the same time, it reduces the skill speed. So I'm saying that it's probably somewhere in between. So it effectively halves the cast time, thus actually, in principle, doubling the damage. Doubling the damage of Bone Storm. Double damage. So there's a skill speed reduction, and there's a less damage reduction. If you go and you look at the damage for Bone Storm, it reduces the damage by approximately 50% here. So that's of course increasing, because that's a skill speed decrease, it's a damage decrease. Effectively, that's not how it works in the situation. The major problem with using Bone Storm is that you're channeling for an eternity. You cannot play like that. So it would be worthless if you didn't have this support gem anyway. So now I'm just going to check one thing here. Yeah, because the spell is practically free. Is it free? 16 mana per second. But my regeneration is so high that it's never going to move my mana. So that effectively makes it so that the Zenith support gem actually is a permanent buff. Anyway, so that's the idea. Now we're going to go into the fight and see what happens with Jamon Ra. I think the lightning resistance and the health pool. I think the health pool is more important to maintain. Let's go in and see what happens.
The fool under the hooded one's way. Do you even know what he is? No matter. You'll find my king far more capable than Count Geonor. My king, take the power you were promised. Put an end to this nuisance.
I don't have a very high level bone storm here, so that's not very optimal, but we'll see. Another thing is that I can actually add let's see if the maybe the bone cage is going to deal more damage actually because of the it's a very long speech. I think there's a minor issue with my spell ranks right now. I think that the spell ranks for the the Bone Storm is a bit of a problem here. This is going to be a very long fight. I really hope I can manage this guy. This is a serious boss when you are starved for power. Jesus Christ. It does. I mean, if you look at the damage, it does seem like it is working. Like the, I mean, you can even dodge roll, so you can basically channel the spell and then trigger the release from the dodge. This could have been a lot worse. I mean, I was kind of drained on my life resource here, and my mana resource was fine, but the life resource was definitely suffering. It did work. It wasn't that overwhelmingly powerful, but I do attribute a lot of the reason. Of course, a lot of the reason for this is that my Bone Storm has a spell gem that's 2 levels below the Bone Cage, for instance. So the spell level is a lot lower. That's of course an issue. But the other thing is that it doesn't have an extra support gem. So the level and the support gem and everything else plays into this. But the other thing is that Jamon Ra's hitbox is not that big. So a lot of those projectiles are missing. And that's a big issue in terms of damage. See, this is an issue. I don't have room enough for all of these things. I need to quickly go over this. Cold damage, increased skill speed. Cold damage instead of lightning damage. So it's a cold resistance ring with other things. I mean, that's a flat upgrade probably for this actually. That's because that's just increased skill speed is just more damage. Okay, let's quickly take a look at these things. Maximum mana, cold resistance. I'm not going to be using this. look at the focus, spell skills, fire resistance, energy shield. In theory, this is not bad, but the energy shield here is not going to. It's not going to do anything for me. I don't even know. I just want socket stuff. I just want things that gives me sockets. Honestly, at this point, yeah. Let's go. No more space. Okay. Heading into Act 3. I mean, it feels comfortable. It feels comfortable. You need enough life. You need enough. Resistances, and honestly, I think that the whole physical damage, the armor, is still valuable. Actually, even with the way that armor is currently working, in that it does not absorb a lot of damage on very high hits, it just absorbs a lot of small hits. Still, it's good. Okay, let's see what just happened. What just happened? So there's strength and life here. Is this like, did I have this all the time? Probably did. It's probably something that I'm switching in and out of, because this is better overall with the extra armor also, yeah. Okay. Let's I'm still selling things because the value of, I don't care, let's do this. The value of gold is a lot higher than the value of shards at this point. Movement speed, armor, evasion, lightning resistance, maximum life. What's my strength? It's 28. We're not very close to being able to use these, but they don't have any movement speed either, so let's not waste any time on that. Antidote charm, yes please.
I will tell your tale.
Okay. Just glossing over my the Ravenous Swarm. The whole thing about the support gems is a bit of a joker here. I really could use a bit more strength actually to be able to equip that. I think that gem would be very good for me. A ring, sorry. The whole thing with the strength on this ring is kind of limiting to what I could do with this ring. So I need to figure that out. Maybe I have like a strength thing here. No, I don't. All right. Let's move on. It's okay. It's in terms of resistances, in terms of life, and the way that my defensive layers was working, I'm comfortable.
So, I think it's time you confess.
You're right. It was I who created all I can. The beast was there.
Right.
I knew
Let's head to
all
Utsal.
along. For one vying for power, what better company to keep than a god? What is it? Yes, we until then.
The beast has grown too powerful. We can no longer contain it through mortal means.
Resistance penalty. Yeah, I'm good. I'm just going to head out. I am going to clear everything here. I think that I'm still going to play very, very carefully because there are a couple of bosses here that are pretty dangerous. I think the boss with the corpses, I forget, root dredge or something, is also kind of a dangerous. I wonder if all of these zombies coming from the marsh actually give me XP. Normally I wouldn't care, but in this scenario I do care.
Another corpse to serve me.
I need a new skill gem for this. It's going to make a lot of difference once I get that extra skill gem, for real. So a new skill gem is going to make a lot of difference for me at this point.
You're not going anywhere.
This looks a little bit like a situation where I'll be beelining in a direction and then grabbing a checkpoint and then heading back, because this area is just so huge and you never know actually when you are in the right spot in terms of what you want to do. It's funny how when you clear every zone, even just the once, you end up slightly over leveled. I'm attributing a little bit of this to the fact that there is the abyssal, because this, for instance, is going to put a lot more monsters on the map, and this is going to grow a little bit more dangerous. So I need to be very careful here. I think the abyssal is going to kill me if I'm not careful. And since this is practically a melee character, also I need to pay extra attention. There's stuff on the ground and shit. So that's a dead end. That's a good thing. I'm just trying to explore the dead ends. Alright, support gem level 3. So that's a good thing. Now we're talking. So probably now what I should do is I should equip my Jeweler's Orb into my Bone Storm, and then see if I cannot get a significant increase to my damage through this. Yeah, so the extraction is like it's a bit of a I mean, it could be that this is going to be very good once I get my second ascendancy. So if you have energy shield and you sacrifice life to deal damage, that should practically be free damage. of the most potent type, gain and chaos damage, but currently it's too dangerous, so I'm not going to use it right now. Instead, I'm going to quickly check if the... And I know there's a gimmick with the ricochet, but that's not going to happen right now. I'm going to go into Bonestalk Cage and see if I cannot do something good here. Area of effect, Zenith, and the Unleash. And it doesn't really look like it. I could Astral Project. I'm not going to Astral Project just yet. I mean, it's probably a very, very good mechanic. But the idea is that you use your AoE spell as a kind of a remote spell, basically. So I'm quickly going to head into the cigarette just to get the waypoint there. And then I'm going to go back. And clear the windswept, sand-swept marsh. So I don't mind. I actually am allowing resetting of zones, but that's only to be able to piggyback off of the movement thing, because like me running for 3 minutes doesn't prove anything. So I just kind of want to bypass that bit of. I'm still wondering if they're summoning zombies, if they're resurrecting zombies. No idea what it is that they're actually doing. The casters there. Yeah, everything is yielding experience, which leads me to believe that clearing all of these zombies is in my interest, because in a moment I'm going to be fighting the monkey, the gorilla, and so I mean, if I can get to level 35 before that, that would be great. And it's going to be a semi-long fight too, because I have to kind of dance around him, waltz around him a little bit. Volatile plants. Exalted orb. Glad to see it. This is the weird thing, like how do these zombies trigger? Skill point. And I don't know if I need to make a transition into something else before fighting the monkey. Maybe I need more energy shield. The one slam is going to kill me, so I do need to consider, am I changing something up? I'm curious to why I didn't go into the physical spells here. That's very odd. I must have been kind of asleep here. That's fairly odd that I didn't go into that, to be fair. It's a lot of damage that I'm missing out on. For sure, not purposefully. Oh, there he is, this guy. And the orbs there, those are fairly nasty. And he explodes things, and like he can be really, really dangerous. So let's see if I cannot focus him down here. And he doesn't have a big hitbox, so that sucks. There are plenty of things that makes this guy nasty. And he is also kind of like an irrelevant boss. You don't need to do him. He doesn't provide you with anything really valuable, but still like... I want to kind of kill everything. Salted orb and skill gem. Skill gem, by far the most important thing here. Okay, so the skill gem has to go in right away on the bone storm. Let's look at the damage increase. It's 1,000, and it's 1,500. That was a 50% damage increase from that single single gem there. I do not want to use brutality, even if it increases physical damage, because there is a lot of elemental damage on my gear, which I think it's going to not provide that or be that powerful. I could equip the extraction just to see what it does to the damage. But like, look at the life loss there. It's going to be too dangerous currently, but we can equip it later, I'm thinking. Okay. And over the next couple of levels, once I increase my physical damage through the passive tree, I reckon I'll get approximately double the damage just for those small investments. So that's going to make the Bone Storm much more viable. That's for sure. Like it was too weak before. So let's see. I do have all of the secrets now from the zone, but I am going to quickly there's something about the channeling that's a little bit weird. Like, it doesn't seem like the damage is completely corresponding to the amount of arrows or projectiles that hits the target. It feels like there's some kind of proportionality to the channel and the amount of time that you've channeled and the amount of damage that you're dealing, that is not only factoring in the amount of projectiles that's hitting. For instance, if I start and I hit this guy's going to die. But this one over here, okay, now it doesn't seem like it, but a moment ago I really got that feeling that those two projectiles were simply not dealing enough damage, even though in principle they should. It's all 36 to 55 physical damage now, so that's a major increase in damage. Okay, I'm not going to be killing zombies for 10 minutes here, one at a time. But let's move on. And now the jeweler's orbs are coming in. I don't intend on using a lot of different skills for this. So let's see what it matters. Shit. Okay, so I kind of know where this spirit is going to go, and I'm not that much of a fan because the well, let's just go and trigger this. Probably I'll need to kite these guys a little bit out of the area here, because otherwise I don't want to be fighting in there. Oh, it's immune. Jesus. I mean, you cannot claim that the damage is not working here. These guys are dying. Bear in mind, I have no gear for this. If I had like a complete twink setup, that would be a whole different story. Colossal life flask. We're getting there. Okay, so there's a little bit more that I want to do. I'm still being very respectful of these mobs that are not really on my, or they're a little slightly on my level, but they are dealing a lot of damage. They're dealing chaos damage, which I'm not resistant to. So that means that they're all going to deal a significant chunk of damage if I don't watch out. I'm not going to be chasing down single zombies for sure. That's not going to make the difference. Oh, there's another uncut skill gem, and that's going to make my bone cage work better. So that's going to be a huge damage boost as well. Just want to make sure that there are no stragglers before I head into my skill thingy. Okay, so that's a clear. Let's look at the damage increase here. Alright, so now the bone cage is at 813. Yeah, so that's a damage increase of, I don't know, 15-20%, right? So that it really makes a difference. But it's going to be worth more in a second. The major thing for me at this point is, how do I get to a place where I can up my my item level to the right, the gear level to the right level? Because before heading into the jungle, I want to make sure that I have done as much as humanly possible to increase my chance of surviving against the monkey, because the monkey is going to kill me. It is going to kill me if I don't, if I'm not absolutely prepared for this. I wonder if I could. This is a level 33 item. It has a huge armor increase. Look at this. This would have been, and it has reduced attribute requirements. Under any type of circumstance, this item would have been absolutely bonkers if it wasn't because I need to sacrifice a bit to get to that strength level. But I think it's going to be worth it, and I am going to go for it for sure, even if I lose a little bit of life. 655. Equipping this. Equipping this. Equipping this. It was the same. It's this. Is it the same? Jesus. All I'm losing is a bit of lightning resistance, which I can kind of sideline. No, oh wait, I can sideline that even with this. Look at this. I can unequip it. Equip this instead. Oh boy. I do want to do that. Lightning resistance. That sucks a little bit. Oh, but I get more here. No wait. Oh, that kind of destroys. Let's see. 21 strength. Okay, so it doesn't. 38. 40. 35. 30. Okay, so even with plus 16. Minus 12 strength, that's going to be 33. So with one level of strength through a respec, I'm going to get to that score. Yeah, let's go ahead and do that right away. This is too good of an item in terms of what I'm going to do right now that I want to kind of not do this. It doesn't remove any of my this is the energy shield from this is not bad, but it's kind of redundant. The stats on it are decent, but I don't need it. So I am going to go and throw this into the stash and work with the new stuff that I got. Let's go to the hooded one, identify, sell.
Anything catch your eye? My
Goodbye, 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 goodbye. And chaos resistance. My lord. Okay. Yeah, the power of this item is crazy. Crazy. Lightning resistance, 17 strength. My god. Some of these items are just too good. 6 resist all is also very, very strong. So if I equip this, what happens to my stats? Okay, so look at this. This is not going to work. Right? I do kind of need to equip this because of the resist all. I even want to slam it once. Yeah, that gave me attack damage. But that's still going to be worth it. I'm going to be slamming the helmet also. Increased armor. Look at that. So like now currently this item is going to give me
I lack the brute strength for this.
30, 37, 13% increase. A bit of fire resistance. It's still going to work beautifully. Okay. Some of this gear jumping is something that's going to take a lot of time for me in this particular kind of run, because basically like if I don't make the right decisions, I'm going to kill myself. Oh yeah, so I do need to go and fix that situation right now to get the extra slot there. So that means removing one of my dex gems for strength. No, that's not what that means. It means remove one of my intelligence for strength. And now I don't have the required intelligence. How much intelligence do I need? 57, so that's 9 points. Oh,
How can I perfect myself?
so that's an issue. I'm letting go of some of the damage, I think. Critical strike chance, and I also need this actually, but I'll wait with that until I have the required stats. Where do I want to go? Where do I want to go? Where do I want to go? The chaos resistance. I'm wondering actually if I want to go here. I'm not sure if the cast speed increases the channel speed. That's one of my main issues with this whole thing. Yeah, I'm going to go up here anyway to increase my critical strike. So let's see intelligence here and intelligence here. 57. Oh, that's where the ring comes in. That's where the ring comes in. Let's see if I have a regal orb. Let's try to see what happens here. 5 life. Enemies killed. It's not going to carry the stat problem. So maybe I can't quite do this the way that I want it because I do need extra stats, dex, intelligence. Unless of course I go in and I pick up stats I can pick up. Let's see. Let's see how this is going to pay off. This is going to work. Alright, so now I have 68 intelligence, 23 dex. I have enough for the whole thing. I think this is how it needs to play out, honestly. I'll have to do the jumbling later on. I can even equip this. So now I have the extra life and lightning resistance. This is still pretty good. Let's go with this. I don't really need to spend too much time on this right now. What could I equip into the bone stone though? The Ravenous Swarm, prolonged duration. Sure. Okay, I don't think I need to spend too much time dealing with this right now. Oh, the Bone Storm obviously increased cast speed for sure. Okay then. Okay, so the second thing that I need to worry about right now is how do I get my skill level to around 33, because that makes a big difference. If I'm able to do that, that's a huge advantage. It's a huge advantage. So I'm going to be going into the vendor here first. And like, look at this. This staff is going to be a major downgrade. It has the level 31 at the level 9 solar orb, but it's worthless. It's worthless for me. to me. I don't see how that's going to improve my damage in any way. It's like a major issue that the way that this stuff scales is so horrible. 33. No movement speed though. I mean, this is kind of like a place where I would probably go and be ready to switch to some energy shield based stuff, but it needs to be very convincing. The major problem is that the monkey will one shot me, and with not enough movement speed, that's not going to be an advantage. Okay, I'm going to purchase this out of faith, and it does give me an energy shield maximum increase. Yeah, I do need to think about changing my armor piece actually. It's very hard. It's very hard. It just is. It just is at this point. It's very hard at this point, honestly. Since all of these items are too poor for me to use anyway, why am I not using this? By the way, 15 movement speed, armor, evasion, lightning resistance, strength. This is a lot better. Like, why would I use this? It's probably for Jamin Ra. Anyway, let's get rid of all of this stuff. At some point it had like reason to exist, but not now. Extra armor. We do like that. Yeah. Still only selling. Simply just selling. I'm not going to change anything in terms of I am spending an awful lot of time in the camp right now, but that's simply because this is a breaking point. Like, my character could very easily die in the next zone, like very easily. Like, probably it will die. I mean, if I get into combat with a monkey, who knows what's going to happen. Where do I want to try my luck? Like, do I want to try my luck at shoes, at a belt, at an armor? Probably at an armor, right? And the main issue is I need to go for energy shield based armors if I want to do that. And that would entail a complete rework of my survivability. I just want to quickly check Riku. Yeah, doesn't protect me from instant death. Yeah. I want something with life. That's the primary thing. So this is the worst item that I currently have. It has a lot of lightning resistance and cold resistance. That's good. but it's by far the worst item that I currently have. So I'm going to go for something with energy shield here to try and move into that space. And we're just gambling away because that's the way it is basically. I don't want to waste my time. Goodbye. 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 Energy shield. Level melee skills, energy shield. But it's 26, so that's the problem. Goodbye. Energy shield, and that's 26, and that's also goodbye. Fire resistance, critical strike damage bonus. That's good. Maximum energy shield. That's very good. Has some damage packed in there. I want to see how that interacts with my damage. It's an okay damage increase, but the item in itself is not finished either. Maximum life here is probably going to be the goat for this. Cold resistance, that's right now, that's the main contender for the spot. Energy shield recharge rate. Life per attack, it's too much all over the place. Goodbye. Goodbye. This is never going to happen. Is there anything else I want to gamble while I'm at it? So I put that in there. Cold resistance. Yeah, that's the thing. Let's see. And I also have a regal orb, which I will slam. Maximum energy shield, which is okay. It's not spectacular. It's not spectacular, but it's okay. So I'm currently closer to 800, but that's still not enough. The next thing is probably going to be not boost, too difficult to gamble with the movement speed. It's too difficult to do. It's going to be the necklace. The necklace is so bad that it needs to get a chance to improve, and it already did. This is a major upgrade already. It does remove the cold resistance. It adds 12 to all attributes. It adds maximum life, and that's actually that changes the whole game. Changes the game. Let's quickly see. 64. So I can remove my intelligence here. And we can improve the damage. Let's check. Yeah, there we go. There we go. There's even more physical damage there waiting for me. The thing that needs to happen in order to make energy shield really work is too much right now. I'm going to have to simply deal with the stress of me fighting the monkey in a moment, well knowing that I could easily die. Considering what I'm going up against, I really need to sell my things. Yeah, this is too good. 17. Potentially. Let's just keep this for now. Normally, if you just bypass the monkey, I wouldn't spend all this time considering this or that, because you can just bypass the monkey, come back later, honestly. But without that option, I would have to decide on skipping it altogether and kind of having that out of the video, but I don't want to do that. I want to fight him, and if I die, I die. It is what it is, really. So. Let's see, do I want to gamble anything else? I did gamble the necklace, that was pretty good. I mean, it's not good enough, but it's good. Let's see, do I want to gamble like an armor? Let's just gamble armors, I don't care. Let's move on. Let's just now it is what it is. If I'm lucky, I'm finding something out there that can actually help me with improving items that I already have and whatnot. But like, in my opinion, at this point, it's all going to come down to, can I or can I not survive a slam, which I don't think I can. I think you want well above 1,000 effective HP. So like now I have a 4. Well, I need to pay attention to this. Need to pay attention to this. Probably outside of Viper, I think for a hardcore solo self-found, this is absolutely the most dangerous place in the entire game. Oh my god. I did forget about these extra vendors though. Probably I also didn't look at the vendors in town. I was a little bit too greedy, because that right there could be something else. With extra sockets. It's not that good, but it's pretty good. I don't have the decks. Never mind. But there's a vendor here, and that's a good thing. Like, that means that I can at least sell my things. Although I am unable to identify them because I don't have any scrolls. So there's that. What's going on here? A lot of these monkeys. I think these are the ruins. I'm looking for a specific set of ruins that's known in his home territory as the Butcher. Okay. To me, I mean, this is just something that I'm generally stating, or at least generally thinking when I'm playing the game. I mean, this mechanic feels to me very much off thematically. For the campaign, it feels like ridiculous. I understand that GGG wants the players to experience the mechanic as early as possible. It's very, very clear with this seasonal mechanic. They want you to experience the mechanic already for real from Act 2. It's very, very early that they introduce the mechanic in a very non-subtle way. Which is fine. Like, I understand that whole that approach. But let's just quickly see what the last point is going to do to our damage here. To make sure there are no monsters before we pause the game. Doesn't seem like there are any monsters now. 1,000 for the bone cage, and now that wasn't a lot. That wasn't a lot. But like, my main thing is that it thematically it doesn't really correspond with the other things that are going on in the game. I'm not going to go and use that wisp before I'm at a stage where I fought the monkey, because I don't want to be fighting the monkey with added added effects. It influences the game in a major way, like the XP that you get, and through the XP that you get, the power that you get is a lot. And it changes the balance of this type of run. I know that the general idea from GGG isn't that to play this game in a very purist fashion. That's for sure not the intended way of playing the game, for sure. But like the reason I'm level 35 in a level 34 zone at this point, with the way that I've been playing the game, is because of the extra damage from the seasonal mechanic. That's the whole reason. If you take away that, you take away like 1.5 levels or something, for sure. I wouldn't be more than level 34 at least, that's for sure. I have a sort of a tinkling feeling that spirit is going to go straight to the monkey if I release it. So that kind of makes me worry just a little bit. See, this is not bad. An orb of alchemy. I am going to use it on my necklace. Melee skills, maximum life. There we go. Maximum life. I'm not even sure what happened, but it re-rolled everything. So it took away the stats, and it did something else. Like, did it even have life before now? I'm not so sure. Did it have life before? I'm not sure. I'll have to go back and rewatch my video. I didn't know that it re-rolled the item. That's a surprise to me, actually. I thought it just added stuff on top there. But like, oh, obviously the melee skills is worthless. Life regeneration is pretty damn good. Increased critical strike chance. I guess that's a slight damage increase for sure. This could be the place. Could be the place. Could be the place. Going to play it a little bit safe here.
None can oppose me.
Okay, so that is that going to be? Oh, this is not it. Oh man, I'm super worried about this.
I think not.
Chaos resistance. Okay. Is there anything else here that effectively is a physical spell? Not really. The vulnerability is kind of like it does remove armor, but I'm not going to waste time on that. It's too much work. Okay, so let's see. Okay, so we're in that situation now where, let's see, probably the entrance to the next zone is over there somewhere. So let's just quickly go and grab that, even if we never get to go. Okay then, let's just go this way. Is this? I'm really unsure if this zone down here is the place. Maybe, do I get the... It's a little bit like it could be the place. But it could also not be the place. I'm just quickly going to tiptoe around to the other part before heading down there to double check. There's another ruin here. That's a checkpoint, so this is the, oh, there we go. Here is the monkey. Well, I have to go. Let's just go for it. There we go. And that's the end. So it is what it is. Like, you head into this fight, and so you head into this fight, and when you head into this fight, you have to be prepared to go for it. Like, there is no such thing as running from it. It's, you fight it, and actually this kind of proves to me, I was a little bit surprised. I'm going to resurrect to just investigate for myself how I made this mistake. So so this particular place where he spawns is normally in actually, I'm going to resurrect, and then I'm just quickly going to head into the zone. Hopefully it's the same layout, and then quickly just check for myself what happened. If it's not the same layout, doesn't matter. But like, I'm going to go in there because I do want to discuss just very briefly what happened to me. Because the main problem is that with this boss fight is that when you do the fight, you want to make sure that when you head into the fight, you want to head into the fight, and you want to make sure that you can see what mechanics is doing. There was a lot of clutter, like there was all kinds of things that was kind of interrupting my vision in that situation, and so I was not sure what mechanic he was doing. If you fight this boss, you have to make absolutely sure that you know exactly what he's doing, that you can see his visuals, you know what he's doing, you know where he's going to hit you, you know when he's slamming, and you do know this if you go straight into the fight very offensively and in clear sight of everything. So I'm just going to quickly find out where he is. It doesn't look like it's the same. It's not the same. It's not the same layout. It's not the same layout. Or is it? It's not the same layout, is it? No, it's not. It's not the same layout. Anyway, here's the boss. Now it's a different situation, right? So here we go. He's always doing the slam, and now you're in range of him. So you see what he's doing. He's doing his range, and then he's doing something else. And he's going to do a slam in a moment. And you just want to dodge like backwards and forwards, basically. And then he slams, but that doesn't matter because you're just constantly going backwards and forwards. And I don't think using the it's too confusing to this is going to provide like a save, and then he slams. But like, yeah, so this is it, like, and he dies. But like, I can see his mechanics. I know what he's doing. What just happened just before was me I was completely surprised. What the hell is this guy doing in this location? Like, where are the ruins? He always spawns in a set of ruins. Where are the ruins? It looked like it was in fact not the ruins. It was the entrance to the next zone. It was the entrance to the infested barrens. What probably would have been a much better solution for me at this point would be to simply just engage him when I found him, and not kind of beat around the bush and try to oh my god, what do I have? What's going on? Oh, I do need to fight him and blah blah blah. No. You go in full conviction. It's a one hit boss mechanic. In a fresh start on hardcore, there is absolutely no reason in the entire world to fight this boss straight up. The 2 skill points are nice, but there is absolutely there is no point in the world of doing this at this point. No point. Because I mean, yeah, sure, this was easy. It's an easy boss, right? Yeah, sure, it's an easy boss. But it's also a boss that when you make that one mistake, which I have to go and rewatch my video actually, but that one mistake that I did there killed me. So I go in, and I know full well that I can't see shit. I don't know what he's doing. I have no idea what animation he's running. And so it's very difficult, and it's around a tree and everything is fucked, and I'm like, I need to reposition. There is absolutely no space for any kind of panic, which is why even if it's an easy boss, there is no reason to fight this boss in a fresh hardcore run. Right here, for me, like, I made it my point that I want to fight things in the zone when I fight them. So this is going to be the first kind of real test for me at this point. Like, I feel like to just go over what's going on. I feel like kind of like I proved the concept in that the character works. The character does work. There is no there is no easier way to do this boss than in melee. Being at range with this boss is always going to be the rougher choice. I don't know if the damage increases on the slam through range, but when you're close to him, you know full well what he's doing at all times. It's not an instant attack, it has a wind up, you can see it happening. If you keep your calm, it's absolutely doable, no problem. But of course, if you get hit, it's fatal. So I mean, even with all those things said and done, like if I had let's say 1200 HP, let's see that I buffed up my character. I went to Act 4 maybe, and then I just come back just to be absolutely sure that this guy is not going to one tap me, which is very easily done if you have like 1.5 effective HP. So if I had waited with this, it would have been stronger. It would have been a lot stronger. But it is what it is. It is what it is. I don't know if more luck on the defensive layers, more effective HP at this point. I don't know if that would have made any difference. I cannot, because I don't have I don't have I don't have a combat log, so I'm not going to be able to go back and figure out if I could have done anything differently. I got the items that I got. That's kind of the takeaway, the value of the items that you get, the huge. But that's basically it. Like, I don't see that any character that I create is going to be better for for me. I don't see that any character, any spec, any subclass, anything really is going to be better for this than the Lich at this point. So, I mean, it doesn't. I don't know that the Lich is the only class that can effectively do this, but it's a very good. It's a very good class. It's a very good class. It's a very good class. But the concept feels. It kind of feels like it works. It works. Getting killed by the monkey is annoying. I was very deliberately prolonging the zone until I knew I was going to fight him, and it feels a little bit like the fight came to me at a very unexpected time. And so, I mean, you can outrun the monkey, so kind of outrunning him and go back into the fight when you want to. But I find it to be more valuable for me to decide when to start the fight. I don't know if there's anything at all, any way that you can guarantee your character's survival on this boss in this type of run. I do personally honestly believe that this is the if not the second or the third, this is going to be the roadblock for 50% of all runs. Not because you're a bad player, not because you're unable to do the mechanics or whatever, but because this fight is simply a do or don't type of fight. There are no other fights in the game, in my opinion, where this is as bad. Yeah, of course the Faradun Prince in the interludes currently, but that's a temporary boss, right? So in the campaign in itself, this is the most dangerous boss by far. I simply do not see any boss that has the same kind of intensity to it. You cannot 1 second hold your breath, or well, you cannot for 1 second hesitate in this fight. It's go in, focus, do it once you trigger this boss. So it's both good and bad in my opinion. It's great that there is this type of boss. I love it, but it's goddamn horrible. Like, and I would have never ever died if I would have allowed myself to not, do this fight or something else. I would have for sure just run, like, fuck this. I'm not doing this. And it's super annoying that like you spend all this time preparing and moving forward, and you get to this boss fight, and damn, you get hit. Oh well, it is what it is. Thanks for watching.